For the coming videos or so, we will be focusing on printing Excel spreadsheets. The best way to check whether your print setup in Excel has had the desired effect is to actually print your spreadsheet or parts of it. However, not everyone has a printer handy, and we really don't want to waste precious resources such as paper and toner ink. For this tutorial, we can simply use a virtual printer, or more precisely, print your spreadsheet into a PDF file. So we've decided to print our workbook, but we want to avoid making the same mistake and wasting a lot of paper. So the first thing we're going to do is a print preview. Now, I've noticed that the East has done some fantastic sales, so I'm just going to select that and highlight it with yellow. And I'm going to do my print preview. So I'm going to come to File, come down to Print, and click on it. Or use Ctrl P as a shortcut. This brings us to our print options, so it doesn't immediately print. And here we have really useful one-stop shop where we can see our print preview, adjust some of our page settings, and adjust some of our print settings. But there's one more thing you have to check. Down here at the bottom, it tells you how many pages you're going to print, and I'm printing 1 of 19. I have these little arrows to either side which allow me to scroll all the pages I'm going to print. So let's see what I'm printing. So there's nothing there. So just as well we did that print preview. Now let's look at some of the options we have for addressing the problem. So I'm going to come out of the print section by clicking the back button or the escape key. First thing I'm going to do is get rid of that yellow stripe. Click on the drop arrow here and choose no fill. There you go. If I just want to select a row of data, a really nice shortcut key, click on the first cell, then Control Shift right arrow. And this time, I'll just highlight the actual data. But I still have a bit of a problem in that I obviously have something somewhere else in the workbook which is causing me to print a much greater area than I really need. So one way of getting around this is to select just the data you want to print. And I actually having thought about it, I don't actually want the total or the doubtful accounts either. So I just want this first 3 columns. So I'm going to select just that, and I'm going to press Ctrl P this time. And nothing's changed. There's one more little change we need to make. I'm going to go into my settings, and at the moment, it's set to print active sheets, which means everything in the current worksheet. If I click the drop-down arrow, I can change that to print the entire workbook or print the selection, which is just the data I have selected. So let's click on the print selection. Show print preview. And it is printing just the data we want to see. And down here, we have 1 of 1. Much better. Before we come to print though, there are a few other little things we can adjust in our print options. We can still make some simple changes to our page setup. So for example, I may decide I want to make my margins very wide or very narrow. We have it here. I can also change my page orientation. At the moment, we're in portrait, but we can switch that around to landscape orientation. There. You can also change your paper size, but make sure that this matches whatever's actually sitting in your printer. If you have a fancy printer, you can choose to print double-sided. And then of course, it's very important to make sure that you're actually sending it to the correct printer. So for now, we will use the Microsoft Print to PDF because for now, we don't have any printer that is connected to our laptop. So once you've checked this and adjusted it to the correct number of copies, you can click your print button and off you go. It's now printing. And since per region. And then save. And there you have it. So that is how you can use your print preview to ensure you're printing the correct thing and make some simple adjustments. In the next video, we'll look at some slightly bigger and more complicated spreadsheets and some of the more advanced print options we can work with.